Do you wish that you had more confidence? Do you wish that you could refer to yourself as a highly confident person? If you're wanting to give your confidence a boost, then this episode is for you. Welcome to another episode of Live Your Yes Life. I'm Kaela Jetta. I'm one of your co-hosts. I share this podcast with my business partner, and honestly, the best partner a girl could ask for, my mom, Lisa. Together, we run our company called Rise Leadership Circle, and this podcast is to support you to go from dreaming and wishing to actively living the life of your dreams instead. So let's dive in today to talk about how to give your confidence a boost. If we're going to talk about confidence, we have to start by having a shared understanding of what confidence is and what it isn't. Okay, so I feel a little bit differently about confidence than what a lot of other people might feel. So I'm going to give you my perspective, and then you're welcome to take it as your perspective, or you can be like, girl, that's whack, and just leave it. But hear me out, okay? So I think that most people view confidence as something stationary. Like it's a place that we're going to arrive. And once we arrive, like the gates open, there we are, Confidenceville forever, viva la confidence, and we will never leave. But I've got to tell you that I consider myself to be a highly confident person, and that has never been my experience. Okay, so to me, confidence is not a destination. It's not a place that you're going to arrive and stay at forever. What confidence is, it's a feeling. Confidence is a feeling, it's an experience. It's something that comes and goes, that ebbs and flows, that yings and yangs. And it's a spectrum. We can be in all sorts of different spots along the confidence spectrum, and then we flow in and out from there. And I think it's super important to understand that confidence is dynamic, it's unstable, it is going to change. Because, in fact, a lot of the, let's call it drama, that I see that folks have around confidence is in the self beat up when they feel like they're not as confident as they once were, or that their confidence isn't as high as they want it to be, is because they are feeling like it should be once and for all. And that's just not how it works, my friends. So if we think about it as a feeling, which is what it is, it's really helpful. Like consider many other feelings. We have feelings like joy and happiness and sadness and despair and pride, and the list goes on. We never stay in any of those feelings for forever. Feelings are fleeting. So we experience a feeling, we dip our toe in, sometimes we like swim around and stay with a feeling for a bit, but eventually that feeling subsides and a new feeling comes in. And so it's important to understand that confidence is a feeling. So, yes, we can give it a boost. We can feel confident a lot more often than what we previously were, but it's not going to stay once and for all. Okay, so another myth that I want to speak into about confidence is thinking that we have to be confident in order to go and do the things that we want to do or take the actions that we want to take. And I just don't see it working like that either. Now, of course, when I am feeling confident, it makes it easier for me to take actions and go do things that feel big and scary. Like that gives me a little boost. But that's just icing on the cake. That's not how it works. Let's use an example with a different kind of feeling to experience that. So many of us feel happy after we work out, like after we go for a walk in the sun, or we get on our yoga mat, or we go swimming, or for a bike ride, or whatever kind of workout you love to do. It can be as simple as moving in the garden, that can be your workout, or it can be like super intense interval training or strength training or something. But many of us find that we feel happy after, and there's all sorts of ways that our endorphins and our serotonin boost from things like that. But most of us don't wait to feel happy in order to go work out. And I just want to say, like, if that's you, I think you're kind of missing the plot, okay? What happens is we have a commitment to ourselves that we want to move our body to take care of our health and wellness. We know that we will feel good after. And so sometimes we move our body before we necessarily feel happy or joyful or pride. Maybe we wake up in the morning and it's on our schedule, and so there we go. Or we get home from a day of work, or just we close out our plans for the day and we lace up our walking shoes and head outside. And we don't necessarily feel happy before we go. Maybe we feel stressed, maybe we feel exhausted, maybe we feel worried or anxious, or like we have all sorts of other things swirling around. But once we move, the action of moving our body creates a feeling of happiness, a feeling of joy, a feeling of pride. And then we get to experience that, and that's so exciting. And then that experience can support us to do more things. Let me use a real life example. So I very recently have become someone who vacuums. And you might like LOL and roll your eyes at me, but this is my truth, okay? Growing up, my parents did a really good job vacuuming, and they did not apparently ask me to, and that was not a thing that I did. And then I lived like with roommates after college, and my roommates would take care of it. And then I got married and moved in with my husband, and my husband is really good at vacuuming. And so I was never a vacuumer. And we've also paid for a house cleaner for many years. And so it just was not something I needed to do. Now, last year, I got a third dog, and boy, oh boy, does this dog have hair. So I have the choice every day to live with literally, I kid you not, a carpet full of hair. Like imagine our hardwood floor. I wake up in the morning and it is as if it has snowed a layer of golden retriever hair, or I can vacuum each day. The choice is mine. And so I have become someone that vacuums. Now, when I wake up first thing in the morning, I do not feel joy to vacuum. Okay, that's not the first thing. Like this is new to me. I'm in uncharted territory. I'm getting into my stride. I don't feel joy to vacuum. But when I wake up and I do my Yes Life morning wealth ritual, side note, that's a really awesome signature support structure that we offer. We can link a PDF to that. And so I do my morning ritual and then I move my body. What happens is I start to feel happy. I start to feel pride. I start to feel joy. I start to feel confident. And then I can't help but vacuum. Now that I'm in my workout clothes, I've been moving around. I get back in the house from my walk or from Pilates or whatever I was doing, and it's easy for me to vacuum. That feeling gives me the turbo boost to do the next activity. Okay, so can you see how it works with happiness? Well, confidence, my friends, is the same. We receive the feeling of confidence as a result from the actions that we take. Often we take the action first and then we get confidence as a result, and then it can snowball from there. Then you can do the next thing that's easier to do once you have confidence. You can work your way up. But it's important to remember that that's actually how confidence works. It is a spectrum and it is a feeling. So if you are waiting around to feel confident before you do the thing, you are going to be waiting a while. What we do first is we take the action. Okay, but maybe you're like, but how does this work? How do I even dial this up? I have more for you. You're going to want to grab your paper and pen for this. I want to share with you what I call the 6 confidence calibrators. These are what I think to believe the 6 things that actually determine our capacity for confidence. So remember I said that confidence is a scale, right? It's something that ebbs and flows, it increases and decreases. And our capacity for how much we can calibrate confidence, meaning like, do we calibrate it to just a 1, like just a pinch of confidence, or do we calibrate it to a 100? We are incredibly confident, the most confident we can imagine, like, but not yet tipping the scale of ego. That could be beyond that. What level can we calibrate our confidence to is determined by these 6 confidence calibrators. So let me give you all 6 of them in alphabetical order, and then we can talk through them one by one. So these are the 6 confidence calibrators. Number 1, acceptance and allowing. I put these 2 things together, acceptance and allowing. Number 2, forgiveness. Number 3, love. 4, possibility. 5, self-worth. And 6, willingness. One more time. Acceptance and allowing, forgiveness, love, possibility, self-worth, willingness. These are the things that give us access to confidence. So if you're wanting to give confidence a boost, number one, be in action and you will experience a feeling of confidence on the other side of that. Okay? That's what I talked about at the first part of this. Go do the thing that you want to do and you will experience confidence. And number two, dial up these 6 confidence calibrators. So let's get into each one of these one by one. Let's start with acceptance and allowing. Now, acceptance and allowing are two different things, but they play on the same team, okay? So when we are accepting, and the view I want to take for all of these is first through ourselves, and then it's by having these things for ourselves that we can also extend them to others. That's the way that we can be in all of these energies with other people. So when we are in a space of acceptance and allowing, what we are doing is saying that I accept who I am, as I am, here and now. I know that this is who I am. And it doesn't mean that I can't grow and that I can't transform and that I can't change, but I don't need to do those things in order to see that this is who I am. And I can have, we'll get into self-love, but I can have a self-love for myself right here and now. I can allow myself to show up for life being who I am. I don't have to be less of myself. I don't have to change in order to show up. I can change. I can grow. I'm allowed to do those things, but I don't have to in order to show up, in order to be worthy, in order to be good enough. I accept that I am those things. I allow myself to be who I am and show up for my life as I am and create an experience of life. And then maybe I will change and grow from there, but not in order to. Okay, so that's acceptance and allowing. The next confidence calibrator is forgiveness. Oh, my friends, I know. Let's just take a deep breath together on this one. Yes, forgiveness. The F word, forgiveness. This is important. And that forgiveness starts with ourselves. Before we can even think about extending forgiveness to anyone else, we get to be in a practice of forgiveness for ourselves. So, what does that mean? That means that we can look at the beliefs we once held, the choices we once made, the things that we once said with compassion for ourselves. We can meet a past version of ourselves and say, I forgive you for what you didn't know. I can see that you were doing the best that you could in that moment, and now you know something different, and I'm not going to hold it against you. I'm going to allow you to grow. I'm going to allow you to evolve, but I'm not going to hold a grudge on you, past self, for being who you were then. I'm going to actually allow there to be forgiveness. I'm going to choose forgiveness. Forgiveness creates completion. Forgiveness completes neutrality. Now, I'm not talking about how it goes with other people. That's a whole other podcast, okay? Right now, I'm just looking at the lens of forgiveness for ourselves. This is a really key ingredient. It is very challenging to feel confident if you do not forgive yourself for ways that you showed up in the past, for beliefs that you previously held, for ways that you previously acted. And when you can be in a practice of forgiveness, that opens up the space for confidence. The next of the 6 confidence calibrators is love. I'm specifically here speaking, like all of these, about self-love. Self-love goes far beyond self-care. So great. I often think like self-care is the gateway drug. Okay. Maybe the place that we start is getting good night's sleep and being hydrated and eating nourishing foods and getting sunlight and moving our bodies and all of the amazing self-care things that there are. Amazing. And self-love goes beyond that. Self-love is about the relationship that we have with ourselves, the way that we see ourselves, the way that we talk to ourselves and about ourselves, the way that we hold ourselves and what's possible for us. That is what self-love is. Self-care happens because we love ourselves. It's like, hey, this is the way that I'm showing myself love. And if you're someone that is like, I don't know that I have a self-love relationship yet, then self-care might be your gateway drug, okay? That might be the thing that gives you an access point into exploring what self-love looks like. And the deeper that we sink into an experience of self-love, the more our capacity for confidence opens up. These are things that you could journal about. Like, for example, you could use this journal prompt for any of these. The journal prompt could be, what would it be like to have a greater experience of self-love or forgiveness or acceptance? Or another journal prompt could be, where is there for me to love myself? Or where is there for me to forgive myself? Where is there for me to accept myself? So these are some practices that you can take on. At the end, I'm going to talk about how you actually practice these. And that's one example, is journaling on it. The fourth confidence calibrator is possibility. Possibility. When we look through the glasses, through the lens of ourselves and our life, do we look with possibility? Do we see that there is a greater possibility and potentiality for ourselves and our future? Can we see that our circumstances do not determine? Our circumstances might be real and they don't determine what's possible. And can we look with a view of expectancy for growth, for good things? Okay, that's what possibility is. The greater the possibility, the greater the confidence we can have. And this just kind of is logical to me. Like, if I think, you know what, something new is possible here, that is instilling some confidence. It's easy for me to reach out and dial up some confidence when I'm looking at life with, yeah, there's something possible here. The fifth confidence calibrator is self-worth. So here's an important distinction I want to make. This is different than knowing you are worthy. A lot of people that I talk to will say to me, I know that I'm worthy. Great, amazing. That's step one. But actual self-worth is not just knowing that you're worthy, it's standing in your worth. It's acting from a place of self-worth. It's making the choices and decisions that you would make as someone who knows they are worthy and is living into it. Not knowing it, but making a choice from a place of like self-distrust or disbelief. That's what self-worth is. It's making choices that say, I'm going to choose this because I know that I'm worthy of it, which often involves a lot of risk. And that brings us into our sixth confidence calibrator, which is willingness. Willingness is like willingness to risk, to trust, to move, to grow, to evolve, to potentially make a mess and then clean it up. It's the willingness to go out on the skinny branches and say, okay, I'm willing. I do not have firm confirmation of how this is going to go, but I'm willing to give it a shot. I'm willing to try. I'm willing to see. I'm willing to bet on myself. I'm willing to show up even though I don't know for certain, but I trust. And that actually creates the certainty. So the more willing we are, the more confident we can feel. This is where my well of confidence comes from. It comes from these things. So on any day when I'm like, I could really use some confidence. Like, what would be supportive here is to feel more confident. The place that I go is these 6 calibrators. I get to look at and practice, okay, where can I accept and allow? Where is there for me to forgive? What would it look like to deepen into self-love? Am I looking at myself and my options through possibility? Am I acting from self-worth? Am I practicing willingness? And when I turn up the dial on those things, confidence comes along for the ride. And I've got to keep it real with you, my friends. The practice of these things is not always glamorous, right? It is not always like, oh, so Instagrammable. It is often very messy and awkward and like I'm stumbling and getting my sea legs. But it is the willingness to be in the dance of all of those things again and again and again, like to cha-cha with them day after day after day, that creates a feeling of confidence that just comes around and around and around. So if that's what you're wanting, if you're wanting to give yourself a boost of confidence, this is where you go. You start practicing and playing with each of these things. And like I said before, a great way to do that is with a journal prompt, is by writing at the top of your paper, what would it be like to have more? Enter any of these and just free write. Don't edit yourself. See what comes up and then go with that. Take that inspiration that you get and act on it, move on it, and watch how confidence comes along. So instead of saying, okay, I got to like drill down confidence, we just open up the room for it. And the way that we open up the room for it is with these things: acceptance and allowing, forgiveness, love, possibility, self-worth, willingness. I would love to hear from you. Come comment wherever you're watching this video. Which one of these 6 calibrators are you going to dial up? Are you going to lean into and practice? And also let me know, do you want more on the topic of confidence? I feel like this is a hot topic right now, and I am happy to speak on it because feeling confident consistently and reliably is one of the things I cherish so much. I'm so grateful for that. And so I'm just happy to share about my experience so that you can have that feeling for yourself, because you are worth it. Thank you for tuning in today. I'll talk to you soon.